maybe likes this one. Will Ireland qualify for France Euro 2016? 2016.
Of course.
Why not?
Actually, it's a fascinating tournament. Apart from the fact that I don't like Roy Keane, I don't even think I'll go into that. No, actually, they will qualify because they have a great management team of Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill is one of the most fantastic managers I've ever seen in action. He was trained by the best, a man by the name of Brian Clough. And Brian Clough's theory was that you don't need to be a good manager to manage, but you need 11 good players who can play. And his job was to pick the best players to play the football game, and he did that. Going back to your original question, we have a team that's coming, a very good young team that's coming. We did very well in the last two games without our two best players, in my opinion, who are McCarthy and Coleman, who play with Everton. The two flair players we have. They're back for the next game. Our next game is Scotland. It'll be one of the best games of the whole of Europe, because Scotland and Ireland are two Celtic nations who love to play with one another and fight with one another. And I feel that Gordon Strachan's a wily old character no more than the manager O'Neill. But I think that yes, I think we will win against Scotland, and I think that if we do that himself, I think we are as good as qualified. And qualified we deserve. There's a lot of young lads coming up there in the 17 and 18s, and the problem with football in England and Scotland and Wales at the moment is that the footballs aren't coming through. And the problem with that is because managers now only don't last too long. And my own team and James Doherty's team, Leeds United, the last managers that have lasted 37 days. So if the manager doesn't produce anymore, he goes. What the manager does now in England and in the Premiership, because it's all about money, he buys in the big players, the players that do it for the day, and they're all foreigners, unfortunately. And the youth is not getting a chance anymore, and it's back to the grassroots in Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales. The standard has gone down a fair bit, but the heart and the loyalty to the country is still there. So yes, Ireland will qualify.
Thanks, Joe. Anyone for that?
Speaking of Leeds United, I'm part of that club as well. Cotton Dons of Leeds United in the early 70s when they were in their heyday, and ever since they've been trundling downhill. But just the fact that he fired that manager the other day, this fellow who owns Leeds United now is a complete lunatic.
He's a lunatic.
He has some antipathy to the number 17. And when he discovered that the goalkeeper was born on the 17th of May, and he was a good goalkeeper, he fired him. First of all, he instructed the manager never to pick him again. And then he called him up, I think, and told him to pack his bags, he was out of the club. So this is the quality of manager we have now in English football. There's no surprise that Irish players enter the game with, oligarchs running football clubs these days. Just that.
Thanks, very good. James.
Speaking of 2016, I think COF lasted 44 days at United, and there's a really good book called The Damn United by David Pearce. And it's a reasonable film too, but the book is very, very good. But Clough's most memorable sin, Joey said he was the best manager of all time. He had this great way of judging footballers. He says, you don't have to be smart to be a footballer. The thicker you are, the better. So you were thinking about things. And his way of testing whether they were thick when he was in the Midlands with Nottingham and with Derby is, start of the season, he'd bring the bus up into the Derbyshire Hills. He'd tell them to get out, and whatever one's made it back to the ground, he'd stick with them for the rest of the year.
Anyone else?